Rhea Ripley shares one-word reaction to picture with Jey Uso ahead of WWE Raw. Rhea Ripley shared a one-word reaction to a picture of herself and Jey Uso ahead of tonight's episode of WWE Raw. Tonight's edition of the Red Brand will air live from the SAP Center in San Jose, California. The Eradicator and Jey Uso teased a storyline romance on WWE television last year. Ahead of tonight's show, Ripley took to social media to react to a picture of herself and main event Jey. The company shared backstage photos from last week's episode of Raw, and Ripley reacted with the former Intercontinental Champion's signature catchphrase, "Eat," she wrote. Ripley captured the Women's World Championship from Liv Morgan last Monday night on WWE Raw. She also hit Dominic Mysterio with a low blow after the match, before celebrating with The Undertaker on the entrance ramp. In her last reign, Ripley held the Women's World Championship for 380 days, but had to relinquish the title following WrestleMania XL due to injury. Former WWE writer believes Rhea Ripley should have lost last week on Raw. Wrestling veteran Vince Russo recently shared his thoughts on the Women's World Championship match last week on Raw and claimed that the wrong star won. Speaking on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw podcast, Russo stated that Rhea Ripley was very popular and did not need to be the champion. The legend added that he would have kept the title on Liv Morgan and didn't understand why the company decided to have her lose the belt. "I think Rhea Ripley is as popular as they think. That's why she didn't need the belt. Rhea Ripley does not need the belt. I would have kept that belt on Liv without a shadow of a doubt. I don't see any reason why they should have taken that belt off of her with the heat she's been getting," he said. The rivalry between Ripley and Morgan has become extremely personal over the past few months. It will be fascinating to see which WWE superstar will be next in line to challenge Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. However, Adam Pearce to announce 35-year-old star's arrival to WWE Raw. Rhea Ripley's future in doubt. Rhea Ripley is back on the top of the WWE Raw roster after winning the Women's World Championship. However, her future on the brand may be up in the air after Adam Pearce may have added a new superstar to the brand. Last week's WWE Raw episode was the talk of the town. It was the brand's Netflix premiere and featured major appearances like The Rock, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, and more. It also had several high-profile matches, including Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship, which the Eradicator won. However, another notable segment in the show was Adam Pearce talking with Bayley backstage, who might have been there to request a transfer. As many may know, Bayley was assigned to SmackDown during this year's draft. However, she hasn't found much success on the Friday show after losing the Women's Championship to Nia Jax and failing to regain it. The role model is scheduled to appear on tonight's episode, and she may be looking to change brands so she can have a fresh start back in the title picture. Still, she has one more job left to do in the blue brand. This Friday, the 35-year-old is scheduled to face Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship. If Bayley succeeds in winning the title, she could replace Rhea on WWE Raw, while Ripley will move to SmackDown. In this way, the Stanford-based promotion can still excite fans for the upcoming title match and avoid revealing spoilers. Rhea Ripley winning back the Women's World Championship gained mixed reactions from fans. While some were happy about her coming back on top, others have expressed that she no longer needs the title. During a live Q&A on Backstage Pass, WrestleVotes noted that Rhea was already popular and didn't need the belt, while Liv Morgan was doing a good job as a heel. "I think it becomes a numbers thing as we get closer to WrestleMania. 2 world title matches for the women's equals probably 4 participants. They wanted Rhea, obviously, to be one of those. I think probably Becky and Charlotte's going to be 2 and 3, and I just don't think they had a spot for Liv there. So they decided to take the title away from her." However, WWE Raw's premiere on Netflix was a night to remember for Rhea Ripley. The Eradicator finally vanquished her arch-nemesis, Liv Morgan, and won back the Women's World Championship. Now, she must look ahead to her next task. The question is, could it be facing Dominic Mysterio at the Royal Rumble 2025? The answer to the question is that it is a possibility. It wouldn't be the first time Rhea Ripley has manhandled Dominic Mysterio, especially seeing as their last interaction ended with the latter writhing on the canvas. Furthermore, WWE officials have floated the idea of an intergender match featuring the two superstars before. Assuming Liv Morgan is sidelined for a while, the Judgment Day could potentially charge Dominic Mysterio to help fix the problem. This could see Dirty Dom do the unthinkable, and in the spur of the moment, challenge Rhea Ripley to the match. Although shocked at first, Ripley could gladly accept and have it booked for the Royal Rumble 2025. It certainly would be quite the spectacle, especially if Ripley goes all out against Dom Dom. But at the end of the day, this remains nothing more than mere speculation. There is no telling what the future holds, let alone if WWE has an intergender match planned. Speaking of Rhea Ripley, the two-time Women's World Champion will be on tonight's episode of Raw on Netflix. While that may not sound special, WWE announced it on social media. This suggests that something of note could happen tonight on the Red brand. Seeing as this is Ripley's first Raw after winning back the title, WWE is sure to roll out the red carpet. What's more, fans will probably get some insight into what the future holds for the Eradicator. Perhaps a new rival will be revealed, or maybe a championship rematch will be announced. Either way, there is a lot to be excited about when it comes to tonight's Raw. Ripley's attendance aside, WWE Creative is sure to have a lot planned for its second episode on Netflix. However, Liv Morgan dropped her Women's World Championship to Rhea Ripley last week on Raw, which means that the Judgment Day is now without a champion. It seems that Liv Morgan could have found a solution for this and given away a huge hint ahead of WWE Raw. The former women's champion recently liked Dakota Kai's update about winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship on Raw, which could hint that she could be there to help her win the title and add her to the group. Kai and Lyra Valkyria are both faces, so a heel turn mid-match would add an interesting dynamic to the bout and would allow Kai to finally move away from damaged CTRL, which has only consisted of herself and Io Sky in recent weeks. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez could welcome Kai to the Judgment Day since the group seems to be split into two groups at present, with JD McDonagh and Finn Balor doing their own thing. Morgan only joined the Judgment Day back at SummerSlam when Dominic Mysterio aided her in victory and welcomed her with open arms. In recent weeks, it's clear that there is an issue between Balor and Morgan, and the two stars are both pushing to be the leader of the group. With both stars recently dropping their championships, it does appear that the group is going through a rough time, but it will be interesting to see if adding a current champion to the team is able to change their luck. Dakota Kai has never won a singles women's championship, and if Morgan is able to help her overcome this stat, then it could be enough for her to turn heel and join her. However, Rhea Ripley gave herself a new nickname ahead of tonight's edition of WWE Raw. The Eradicator picked up a major victory on last week's debut episode of the Red brand on Netflix. Ripley defeated Liv Morgan last Monday night to capture the Women's World Championship. Dominic Mysterio attempted to reconnect with the 28-year-old following the match, but she elected to hit her former love interest with a low blow instead. Ahead of tonight's show, Ripley took to her Instagram story to share a new selfie along with a one-word message. She showed off her physique and referred to herself as Champ, as seen in the image below. You can check out her post on Instagram by clicking here. Ripley is scheduled to appear on tonight's edition of WWE Raw. The finals of the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament will also take place on tonight's show, with Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria set to battle for the title. Former WWE writer Vince Russo recently claimed that the company was having Rhea Ripley sell too much during her matches. Speaking on last week's episode of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw podcast, Russo stated that WWE was having Ripley sell too much for her opponents and noted that China never did that back in the day. The legend added that Morgan got in too much offense during the title match last week as well. Man, I just gotta tell you, Chris, I just think they make Rhea Ripley sell way too much, man. I'm watching her, and I'm like, I can't help but think of it. And I'm like, China would have never ever sold like that. And that's why she was so over. You got a woman who is so much shorter than Rhea, just throwing her around that ring and tossing her around that ring. I just think they're having her sell way too much, he said. Hi lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Lima. Hope your day is so well. If you like the video, and subscribe the channel.